Hey everybody, so today is the last day for Olivia and I to be on the road. We're actually in Lone Pine, California. I have been to this museum before, which is well worth the stop. If they ask for $8 donations per person, so of course I paid that. It's well worth it. I did not ask for military discount. This is a really cool museum. It looks like this was once actually a movie theater. I think it was a movie theater. They converted it into a museum. If not, I think they got a cool facade that they used to make it look like a movie theater. But a lot of movies were filmed in this area. Some of the top ones that you guys are gonna know is some scenes from Star Trek and Star Wars, a couple of other things. We're gonna see some of them inside and some of the movie artifacts. Also right behind is what they call the Alabama Hills. I'm gonna do a separate video for that. And for all the motorcycle enthusiasts, that is part of the California BDR, Back Discovery Roads. That comes up the 395 area, and I think a car's gonna come into my shot. But I did that on my motorcycle a couple of years ago, and we're gonna do it in Olivia's car, which will handle it just fine. A little history of it really quick. The Museum of Western Film History is dedicated to preserving the diverse movie history of the Lone Pine, Death Valley, and California Eastern Sierra. Over 10,500 square feet of exhibits, offers visitors a unique experience, documenting and interpreting the cultural heritage of America's cinematic history. For over 100 years, the studios have found the Sierra Nevada mountains and the rugged Alabama hills the perfect backlot for making films. Artifacts and collectibles of many cowboy stars, such as Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, the Lone Ranger, Roy Rogers, Randolph Scott, and John Wayne, grace the walls and the showcases of a wide range of exhibits celebrating the many Lone Pine films. So let's just go ahead and go inside and see some of the stuff they're talking about. Like I said, really cool place to stop. And it's just funny how, and I've driven past it many times. I don't know, I mean, here you have, I don't know if any of the scenes from that movie was shot here, but probably. I don't think they would put these movie posters out here if these in fact were not shot here. Let's go inside. So they have a gift shop up front. We'll look at that later. And I do my best not to capture other people in the videos for their privacy, but I just kind of wanted to show some of the equipment, some of the things that were historically used in film production. And the cool thing, one thing that I find very interesting is with all the CGI, all the computerized animation and stuff, this is when they'd actually have to come out to the location. They would have trailers for the employees, the stars, the workers to stay in. Oh, what is this? Wyatt Earp, 1994, starring Kevin Costner and Dennis Quaid. This movie came out right after Tombstone, and although people say it was more of an accurate depiction of Tombstone, Tombstone, this laid in the shadow of Tombstones. And I gotta say, if I had to choose, I would say, yeah, Tombstone definitely over the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp one. This is just the beginning. We're still in the lobby area, so we're gonna move forward a little bit. Oh, I don't know if this is from Django Unchained. I gotta find this out. If this is amazing. The cart from the doctor. This wasn't here last time. Yes, this is his chair he used while filming Django Unchained. Oh my goodness. This is the wagon that they blow up. I don't know if this is a reproduction. I gotta ask, because if this is the original, this would be amazing. Maybe it is. Is this the original from Django Unchained? Oh my goodness, I guess they did. I guess they did film it here. This is it. This is the actual, I had no idea this was in here. This is the actual wagon that was in the movie from Django Unchained. And like I said, this was not here when I was here last time. That's really kind of cool. It looks like they have another exhibit hall Oh, did they say they're not showing anything? I think they said. Let me see. So,
She said the projector's not working.
so there was a theater in here. I don't remember. If I saw what they play in there. It might just be a film or documentary about movie making in the Old West. But I mean, for starters, having this right out here in the lobby, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, we'll see some more in a bit. Okay, I don't want to get copyrighted, and I'll try to talk louder. But they're showing a film. They're showing the film Iron Man, and I guess the same where he where he blows up everything in Iron Man, the first one I think, is actually the backlot Alabama Hills. One thing that we don't see as viewers is, we enjoy the movie, but we don't see the intense work and working in the heat, working in the elements that once was the only way to do it back then. So when I talk about the Alabama Hills, it's a very notable area here. But if you are a motorcyclist and you're doing the California BDR, I would actually stop in here first and go through the museum. So when you go through the Alabama Hills on the BDR, you'll get a better idea of what you're seeing. I think they say this is Chief Thunderbird Richard Davis Thunderbird. That was what he wore in the movies. The movie industry, starting with the silent films, was really coming out of the turn of the century era, where the cowboys, or what we would know as what cowboys were like, were dying off, and the automobile was coming in. But so you see a lot of these silent movies, and a lot of them had to do with the Western, had to do with cowboys and that culture of, because that was what was most prevalently filmed. That's what was, I guess, of interest. They had a lot of area where they can do it. Also, besides this area, I know, which I've never been to, Monument Valley, I understand, is also another big area where Westerns were filmed. So far they have a lot of apparel that was used. So I have to imagine any movie poster that's in here are movies that were filmed in the vicinity. And like I said, I'll do a follow-on clip to this of when Olivia's driving through the BDR area, or the Alabama Hills, or the backlot, however you want to refer to it. We can see it. Audie Murphy played himself in, I guess, the movie Audie Murphy, Medal of Honor recipient. I guess some of that was filmed here. Okay, let's see who this car belongs to. There's probably one of these cars in that museum. I know I was at the other day. The High Sierra car. Who can forget the drive up Old Whitney Portal Road with Mad Dog, played by Humphrey Bogart. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so he drove this car in that movie at this location. Kind of a cool little demorama there. I mean, there's a lot of artifacts. I don't know. Yeah, almost every artifact in here is associated with a person of some kind of notoriety. What in the world is that kind of vest? Leather jerk vest. Richard Diamond Farnsworth. I don't know, maybe they use it to when they're on the horse or stagecoach or something, I don't know. Once again, this isn't an area of my expertise, more of a fascination. So if I say anything about stuff that I'm filming, And anybody here has a better understanding of it, please chime in. I don't know if I said it in the film, but when I was at that museum, I saw that car that was that Corvette that was owned by John Wayne. That's the cool thing about museums. You can kind of collect the dots, or connect the dots. So there's a Gene Autry Western Museum by the LA Zoo. I think it's called the Heritage Museum now, I'm not sure. But it's by Los Angeles Zoo, the Gene Autry Museum. I went to a long time ago with my grandfather. Okay, so here's some artifacts from Iron Man. So this is the suit that Tony Stark was wearing. And then that's the Alabama Hills behind him. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's Mount Whitney behind him, but I can't factually say that because there's a lot of mountains right behind us that look kind of tall, but that might be Mount Whitney. That's over his left shoulder. And I would have never have thought that that was even California when they filmed that, when I saw that scene. That's what he's wearing in the movie. That's his outfit. Everything in here, Olivia, is real artifacts. If it's in here, it was used in the movies. So this is all the military stuff from Iron Man. And then moving forward, there's a couple of more things. I don't know if these ammo cans were actually, quite possibly can when they get done with the movie set. But here's something really kind of cool that I'd be interested in. I saw this movie the first time when I was about, 12 years old maybe. But so that's the Alabama Hills. That shot is here. That was the first Star Wars produced movie. And I never saw this movie, Tremors. I've never seen it. So this is actually a model. This was actually a prop miniature model that was used in the movie. So if you look up here, that this is a miniature that they actually used. Like I said, I never saw this movie called Tremors. I don't know if this thing was actually used in it. I gotta probably pause it or silence it for copyright purposes. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna talk really loud because there's no other guests to bother. But I'm talking loud because I want to drown out what's going on behind me audibly because I don't want to get copyright infringement or get this deleted because this is some really cool stuff. But what Olivia said when she was reading it, and I'll turn around in a second because I don't want to view the screen. She said that these items were actually used in the movie. These are actual real movie props, and they reserve the right. They reserve the right to use them again, to reclaim them and use them for something else. But these, I've never seen this movie, but I think I'll put it on my Netflix list to see. So they were talking on the TV. That's right, boom, right there. But like I said, I don't want to get a copyright infringement or have this for some reason deleted because I think this is a really cool video for you guys to see. Yeah, here's one of the scenes here.
Oh, what? They filmed that here?
So, moving right along. Not sure what. Oh, it's a big flag. It looks like this was a vehicle that was used, piece of equipment that was used during the filming. This 1928 Lincoln camera truck was loaned to the museum to Netflix for scenes in the critically acclaimed film directed by David Fincher. So the Lone Ranger was before my time. But there was still a lot of remnant things of the Lone Ranger. I mean, there were still toys in the toy store. lunch boxes. And, oh, well, there you go. There's some, oh, those are newer ones. Those are like, I can tell by because they're wrapped in plastic. But, you know, there were still some toys you could buy. Maybe my cousins had some toys or books inside their, inside their toy box. This is also kind of a time where, when I was talking about how the movie industry overlapped with the fading cowboy culture of the Old West, why we saw so much cowboy action, this was also a time that you see, like in Toy Story, where that movie / cowboy culture was merging with science, outer space stuff. That's where you get that transition and the duplicity of Buzz Lightyear and Woody, where kids were going from the allure of the cowboy frontier in the Western days into space, into the new technology, the space age. I'm sure a lot of the stuff you still may be able to find in some people's homes, and obviously existing on eBay. I think this might be an original. Please do not touch. That might be an original lunchbox from the day. So let me go back to this car real quick. There are some other visitors. There's a real cool Stagecoach. That's probably been used in a movie. Like I said, most stuff here has been. Here's some more Gene Autry artifacts. Which, once again, Gene Autry Museum by, what is that? Huh, interesting. Never heard of it. Masters of the World. Yeah, some really cool stuff in there. Now, as I understand it, for the quick draw, see how they call it a drop holster or a Bascadero holster? It drops down, right? It drops down. Well, my fingers are off, but that drops down. Those were never actually used in the Old West. When I was in Tombstone, I had them make some leather for me when I was in Tombstone for the guy that fashions it. And what holsters were like back then, they were on the belt, not dropped like that. They dropped like that. That's a Hollywood thing, and it was easier to draw. They're a quicker draw. Some cool lever actions. That might be an original holster there. There's another Bascadero or drop holster there. All these are actually. So they laid lower on the hip, so anatomically your hand would rest right there. Anatomically it would be easier to draw. So for movie purposes and for quick draw, that's a Hollywood design. It started with them just shoving the gun in their belt, the regular waist belt. That started with that, and then when a holster was built, the loop part that you see there, the loop, you can't really see it too well on this one, but there's a loop part in this leather, and they just slid the holster itself on top of the main part of the belt. So mine are actually more authentic, where it slides on the belt, and you can remove them, put them back, remove them, put them back. Kind of captures the days of 40s, 50s. So here's another automobile, which once again I'm fairly sure has been used in a movie. That's cool, little kid camera. That's a lot of weight. It's probably real silver too. Trail of San Antone car, Buick 8 Roadmaster. For the Gene Autry Jump Gene's Horse champion over this car. Oh, very interesting. So yeah, this was donated by Beverly and Jim Rogers. So another Hollywood star automobile. Well, there you go. I finally found Pee Wee Herman's bike. Hop Along Cassidy, it says. I'm sure it's got to be a Schwinn. Oh, I can't tell. So, I mean, you guys have probably surmised this by now. So this museum and the area that surrounds it, that was used for movies, appears to be all, and I can't think of any other genre, but it's either Western or sci-fi. Western or science fiction. Nothing like any kind of like real life, slice of life, just, I'm not saying that it hasn't. I would imagine with all the filming out here, I'm sure that there has just been a general movie that had nothing to do with Western or possibly sci-fi, but everything I'm seeing so far is related to either Western days, Western filmmaking, or science fiction. Star Wars, Star Trek, Tremors. Oh, Iron Man. Well, that's sci-fi, but it's not space age type of stuff. I think I was looking at this earlier. I kind of like this. Yeah, I came through here already, but it was really interesting to show the family living room scene of what it would have been like when people were watching movies. All right, everyone, come on in. The movie's coming. So that's pretty much it. That's the walkthrough. Not too terribly big. I'm thinking this maybe was a real movie theater at one time. I'm gonna wrap this up and just take my time and read some of these things, take some really cool shots, some static photos, some regular photos, whatever I'm thinking. But well worth coming in. You probably give yourself, depending on what kind of degree of aficionado you are, filmmaking or historical Western days, I would say give it a minimum of an hour. I haven't checked out the gift shop yet, but that's not going to be on any of the filming. I'm not sure where Olivia went, but give it about an hour to check it out. I haven't asked. They don't have anybody roaming around to answer any questions, but most of the stuff, if you have a question, there's going to be a placard or a label somewhere to explain what you're looking at. So thanks for following along. I'm gonna wrap this one up for now, and then do another one of the backlot when Olivia's driving the Alabama Hills. I probably won't be able to pick out many sites, but if I can, I'll point them out. Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to tell you guys where the stagecoach was from. Please do not climb. I thought I saw a placard here somewhere that says where the stagecoach was from. Oh, here we go. E. Rogers. Films made in Lone Pine. Maybe in Rawhide, it says. Okay, so this was a stagecoach that was in the area, and they believe that it had a couple of modifications, maybe changed, maybe got repaired, but I think it is an authentic stagecoach from that era. It's just been used in many different films, so it doesn't have a specific film that they had mentioned where it was from. So anyways, let me just wrap it up with that and a good backdrop. So like, subscribe, and thanks for following along. I'm going to doing some KLR stuff. This is our last day on the road. I'm home tomorrow. Probably start working on some modifications on the KLR. I'll get into that later. Dedicate some video footage to that. Enjoy it. Get out there and do it. Like I said, if you didn't do it today, don't wait till tomorrow. I said that backwards. If there's something you wanted to do and you didn't do it yesterday, and you're planning on doing it tomorrow, don't wait for tomorrow, because all we got is today. Do it today. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.